If you haven't already heard, Bethesda Softworks filed a lawsuit against the publisher Warner Brothers and the developer Behavior Interactive for the new mobile Westworld game. Bethesda outlined in a lawsuit that the game is a clear rip-off of Fallout Shelter, specifically saying that they were suing both companies for their willful and intentional infringement of Bethesda's copyrights, misappropriation of Bethesda's trade secrets, and deceptive business practices and unfair competition through the development, marketing, and promotion of the Westworld mobile game. Furthermore, claiming Behavior Interactive breached its contract with Bethesda and utilized its restricted access to Bethesda's intellectual property, including Bethesda's copyrighted code, trade secrets, and other rights to compress its development timeline, reduce costs, and quickly bring the Westworld mobile game to market, and offer players the wildly popular gameplay experience found in Fallout Shelter. If you're unaware, Behavior Interactive has a connection with Bethesda because they originally were hired to work on Fallout Shelter, and that's something Bethesda has outlined in their lawsuit, claiming Behavior Interactive was hired by Warner Brothers because of how successful Fallout Shelter has been. Which again, if you're unaware, Fallout Shelter is a free-to-play simulation video game developed by Bethesda Game Studios with assistance by Behavior Interactive, and published by Bethesda Softworks. The game has garnered over 100 million players, won a few awards for Best Mobile Game, and brought in a ton of money in microtransactions. Now, Bethesda has also claimed all the work Behavior Interactive did for Fallout Shelter and its assets is solely for use by Bethesda. They then said that it's clear the Westworld game is a blatant ripoff, sharing similar game design, art style, animations, code, and features to Fallout Shelter. The most Bethesda thing ever is that they said the Westworld game even shares the same bug which was in the early development of Fallout Shelter, something that has since been fixed. This bug appears when a player starts up a demonstration version of Westworld and renders the view out of focus. In all honesty, when I look at both of these games, they look remarkably similar, and in all honesty, it does look like the Westworld game is a ripoff, and the fact that the same bug that was in Fallout Shelter is in the Westworld game is telling, and does seem to be that there may have been some stolen code. But it doesn't look like Warner Brothers agrees, and they responded to the lawsuit by giving a statement to IGN just last night, saying, "As one of the world's leading creators of intellectual property, including the groundbreaking television series Westworld, Warner Brothers has a deep respect for intellectual property rights. As such, the assertions by Bethesda Softworks that Warner's Westworld mobile game improperly used source code from Bethesda's Fallout Shelter are as surprising as they are unsubstantiated. Warner Brothers has been assured by the game developer Behavior Interactive that Bethesda's allegations are untrue and that none of Bethesda's code was used in the Westworld game. Moreover, contrary to Bethesda's baseless accusation, Warner Brothers at no time induced Behavior to use the Fallout Shelter code in Westworld." Bullshit! Now, personally, these games look suspiciously similar, and the fact that Behavior Interactive was involved on Fallout Shelter's development makes this situation even more suspicious. But from Warner Brothers' statement, it seems things are about to get very messy and heated, if it hasn't already. When you look at both of these games from an outside perspective, they look like almost the exact same thing. This has previously been noted by many journalists who had their accounts and reports used as evidence by Bethesda, and what they have claimed is that the game plays similarly, shares a similar multi-room underground vault environment, character behavior, shading, room placement, and more. One example that was given as noted by IGN is the Westworld mobile game copies Fallout Shelter's barroom, complete with characters sitting at tables drinking oversized mugs of beer, which may seem like a coincidence if everything else about this game didn't look so similar to Fallout Shelter. I do find it odd that Warner Brothers only addressed in their statement the code that was possibly stolen and used for the Westworld game, not at all mentioning all of the other similarities to Fallout Shelter. Maybe that's just me digging into their statement too much, but I do find it strange nothing else is mentioned except for that. Look, I'm not really sure what happens next, but I don't see Bethesda backing down. This is not their first or last time with lawsuits over infringement, as a few years ago they battled Interplay in the courts over the Fallout Online license, forcing them to eventually settle, and additionally they also sued Mojang for trying to trademark their game Scroll, trolls. Eventually, they would also settle. At first glance, I really thought this was going to be an open and shut case, but now I'm not too sure. This may be the start of a very long legal battle between two of gaming's biggest publishers. A similar lawsuit recently was resolved in which PUBG tried filing a suit against Fortnite, claiming the game to be a copycat, but obviously, as many pointed out, the only similarity was that Fortnite is a battle royale game, but clearly has its own spin on the mode with a different art style, gameplay features, and much more. Just yesterday, it appears PUBG dropped that lawsuit, which in my opinion makes sense because there was no case. Now in this situation with Bethesda and Warner Brothers, it seems it's quite the opposite, and it's really going to be interesting what happens next. But what do you guys think? Do you think the Westworld mobile game is a ripoff of Fallout Shelter? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and consider subscribing for more content like this, and I'll see you later.